Good day, nurses. Welcome to MindWeb Academy. So this is Jikar Sibagbanwa, your head coach. So for this afternoon, we will be discussing understanding the pathophysiology of your core pulmonale. Why do we have to understand the pathophysiology of any disease process? Remember, nurses, that the beauty of your pathophysiology is that you'll be able to identify the physical and the psychological effects of the altered states or the disease process. To make it short, by understanding the pathophysiology, you will be able to identify the signs and symptoms of your disease process. Why is that important? If you know the signs and symptoms of your disease process, then you'll be able to manage your client effectively. I'll give you one specific example. If one of your manifestation is constipation, basing from the pathophysiology, one of your manifestation is your constipation. Alright, what should be your nursing management? You don't need to memorize. You need to decrease the fluid intake or decrease fluid intake. Increase the fluid intake because obviously you have your constipation. So NCLEX is critical thinking and analysis. But you can only analyze and do the critical thinking integrated, the critical thinking by understanding, of course, the pathophysiology. Because from the pathophysiology, you will have your what? Signs and symptoms. Okay, let's go back to constipation. In constipation, you have to increase what? The fluid intake. What about the diet of your client? Should I increase the diet of your patient? Or should I increase the fiber in the diet or decrease the fiber in the diet? Yes, because of constipation, you have to increase fiber in the diet. Okay, that will be our topic. That's why we have to understand the pathophysiology of your disease process. Okay, and for this afternoon, we have the core pulmonale. You will understand later the pathophysiology. And if you know the signs and symptoms, you will understand bakit itong management ang kailangan kong gawin sa client natin. Okay? So before I'll start with your question and answer and discussion of your pathophysiology, okay, I want to know your location. Okay? So comment down your location. Okay. Do we have nurses from Manila? Okay, nurses from Manila. Okay. What about nurses from the Visayas? Okay, nurses from Mindanao. Okay, what about nurses from the USA? Do we have nurses from the USA? Okay, what about nurses from Dubai? Okay, nurses from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Alright, okay, what about nurses from Dubai? Okay, so thank you so much, nurses from United States of America. Thank you for your participation. Okay, what about nurses from Bacolod City? Okay, so we have also nurses from Bulacan. Okay, so nurses from Bulacan, thank you so much for your participation. And also Sampaloc. Okay, Sampaloc. Okay, thank you so much, nurses from Sampaloc. Okay, you can share this, live class to your friends. Okay, also nurses from Pasig City, thank you so much. Okay, what about nurses from Iloilo City? Okay, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we also have nurses from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Thank you so much for your participation. Okay, we also have nurses from Cavite. Okay, so MindWeb now is present globally. Okay, so we have students from London, we also have students from the Middle East, and also United States of America. Of course, we have from the Philippines. Okay, so thank you so much for sharing your location. Okay, let's have a game, nurses. I need your participation. Okay, so this will be our game. Okay, the first three participants, who will give the correct answer will be given 2,000 pesos discount. Okay, when you enroll in our actual digital program. Okay, you have your 2,000 pesos discount when you enroll to our when you enroll sa actual na digital program. Okay, so we have three participants will give the correct answer. Okay, so you know the price already, 2,000 pesos discount. Okay, so shall we start with your question? Okay, so this is regarding your core pulmonale. Okay, so for your question, okay, which of the following drugs used in core pulmonale mimics the action of your nitric oxide as well as acts synergistically with your nitric oxide to promote vasodilation. Alright, that's your question. So what's the test content? It's pharmacology. Alright? Okay, and the test format is single response. Okay. So we have now pharmacotherapy for your core pulmonale. So we have the first three who will get the correct answer. You can avail of your discount. Okay, come on nurses from the USA, you can do that. Okay, what is the drug that mimics the nitric oxide and acts synergistically with the nitric oxide? Kasi sabi natin synergistic, it can potentiate the effect of your nitric oxide. What is that? Okay. Is that what's your options number one? Your option number one is, sure. So let me answer. The PDE5 inhibitor. Okay. Or it should be the endothelin receptor antagonist. Or it should be letter C, guanylate cyclase stimulant. Or letter D, cardiac glycosides. Or letter E, you have calcium channel. Answer? Okay. First time ba natin na narinig yung gamot? Okay? So in NCLEX, we need to do, of course, updates. We have to, for your exam, you need, of course, updates. And we have, newer medication, newer management for client with core pulmonale. Okay. Before I'll give the correct answer, sige, let's try. Baka may makakuha pa ng, discount. The first three who will... Okay, may tatlo na ba? Okay, so we have the three, winners already. So, thank you so much for your participation and congratulations. Okay, so maybe you cannot explain, the mechanism of action of that medication. Okay, is that your PDE5 inhibitor? Is that, your, nitrates? Okay, so later you will understand the pharmacotherapy and why do we have to give this medication to apply with your core pulmonale. Okay? So nurses, in MindWeb, we will not just, give you the correct answer. Okay? So before I discuss, the pathophysiology of your core pulmonale, let me first discuss, the anatomy and your physiology. Okay, the anatomy and your physiology. So we are done, with the three top, and then we have also started with the Q&A. Okay, we have your questions already. Okay, but before I'll give the correct answer for those three na nakakuha, of course, they know already the medication. Okay, the one that is being asked in the question. Okay, so how do we explain now your core pulmonale? Okay, in MindWeb, we will always start with your anatomy and your physiology. Okay, so what's the anatomy and physiology na kailangan natin malaman to understand your core pulmonale? That's very simple. Okay, when you say nurses core, pulmonale, This is your right-sided heart failure that is, okay, non-cardiogenic. Okay? So, cor pulmonale is right-sided heart failure due to your, okay, primary lung disease. Pag tatagalugin natin, nagkaroon ka ng right-sided heart failure. Okay, not because, okay, ang primary problem natin nasa contractility of the heart, but ang problem natin is doon mismo sa lungs ng client natin. Ano kaya yung problema na yon? Okay? So, in core pulmonale nurses, we need to understand first that, okay, the pulmonary artery, okay, is a thin-walled vessels, okay? And pulmonary artery, okay, will terminate up to your arterioles. Okay, so pag tatagalugin natin, ang artery mas malaki siya, paliit ng paliit, hanggang mag-ano siya, arterioles. Okay, so from the pulmonary artery down to your arterioles, they are all, okay, thin-walled blood vessels. Pag sinabi natin thin-walled blood vessels and compliant blood vessels, they have the capacity to dilate, they have the capacity to constrict, and they have the capacity also to collapse. Okay? So that's why I have, okay, emphasized they are your thin-walled, okay, blood vessels, and that is, they are also compliant. Did you get my point? So they have the capacity to contract, they have the capacity to, okay, dilate, and they have the capacity to collapse. Okay, have your pulmonary artery. Okay, you might be asking, sir, saan ba ang pulmonary actually? Okay, kasi we are talking about your anatomy and your physiology. Okay, so in MindWeb, we'll be making use of your mind mapping technique. Okay, so again, retention through simplification. I-simplify natin. Okay, so para intindihan natin ang pulmonary artery, especially for those na medyo matagal na sa nursing field and babalik na uli sa pag-practice nila at kukuha ng NCLEX. Okay, so this is again your circulation. Remember that you have the 4 chambers of the heart. Am I correct with that? Alright. This is the right atrium. Okay? This is the right ventricle. Anong blood po meron sa right side of the heart? The blood in the right side of the heart is unoxygenated. Am I correct with that? Okay. Then, the blood from the right atrium will go down to the right ventricle. Okay, and will be pumped by the right ventricle into the pulmonary artery. So that's why you have now your pulmonary artery. Saan siya mag-e-end? Sa pinakamaliit, okay? Which is your, of course, your pulmonary arterioles. Okay, so this is important anatomy and physiology that you need to understand in your core pulmonale. Okay? So the pulmonary artery down to your arterioles, they have the capacity to collapse, to contract, and to dilate. Because they are what? Thin-walled, compliant blood vessels. Okay, let's talk about the pathophysiology now of your core pulmonale. Okay, how do we define again core pulmonale? Okay, it mimics the right-sided heart failure because there is really right-sided heart failure. But the right-sided heart failure here, it's because of what? The primary lung problem. And what is the common primary lung problem that develops or that lead to your, okay, right-sided heart failure? Okay, that pulmonary problem in your core pulmonale is what you call your pulmonary hypertension. Okay, that's why I have mentioned a while ago that the right-sided heart failure in your core pulmonale, it's not because sa problem sa contractility ng heart natin. Hindi doon galing sa heart ang problema natin. Bakit siya nagka-right-sided heart failure? Ang problema niya doon mismo sa lungs. And the most common is what? The pulmonary hypertension. Okay, let's do the mind mapping technique. Tingnan nga natin, nurses. Bakit kaya possible ang pulmonary hypertension? Balikan ko ang anatomy and physiology natin. What is this chamber? The right atrium. Am I correct with that? Yes. Alright. The next one. Yes, correct. Thank you. Right ventricle. Then papasok na si, okay, unoxygenated blood saan po? Pulmonary artery hanggang papunta ng arterioles. Ang dulo nun, capillaries na, then pupunta na sa alveolus para mayroon tayong tinatawag na gas exchange. Okay? So ito, pagbalik dito, okay, di ba po, ano siya? Carbon dioxide. Okay, kasi galing dito unoxygenated. Tama po ba? Okay, and then, pagpunta nyo sa lungs, meron na tayong alveolus or alveoli. Anong pumapasok sa alveoli natin? It's the oxygen. Tama. Okay. Once your blood passes your alveoli, in this case, you have alveolus kasi isa lang. Okay. Once the blood flow passes the alveoli, there is what you call diffusion. Diffusion ang mangyayari. We define diffusion as, the transportation of gas from higher to lower concentration. Saan mas madaming carbon dioxide? Sa blood ng client natin. So, carbon dioxide will, diffuse from higher to lower. So, dito na si carbon dioxide. Alright. Saan madaming oxygen? Oxygen from the alveolus madami. So, it will diffuse from higher to lower. So, napunta si carbon dioxide doon sa alveoli, napunta si oxygen sa blood vessel. Anong tawag natin doon? Gas exchange. Tama po ba? Okay. I-integrate ko lang. Pag ang question nyo sa NCLEX is pulmonary edema. Ano yung pulmonary edema natin? Ito po, nagkaroon ng tubig. Tama ba? You have your water here, fluids, because of what? Increase in capillary permeability. So pag may tanong sa NCLEX na, what is your most appropriate nursing diagnosis for a client with pulmonary edema? Balik ka dito. Isipin mo lagi. Okay, the mind mapping technique. In MindWeb, nagma-mind mapping technique tayo. Sabi ni Sir Jucar, ang alveolus may oxygen yun. Kasi tinitakein mo ang carbon dioxide. Yung blood vessel naman, yung capillaries, may carbon dioxide. Kasi, andito siya sa right side, galing. Nagtitake-in ka naman ng oxygen papunta sa alveolus mo. Okay, so saan madaming oxygen? Alveoli, punta siya dito. Then, carbon dioxide madami sa blood, punta siya sa alveolus. Then, exhale na natin ang carbon dioxide. Saan pupunta si oxygen? Left side. Para i-pump saan? Sa circulation. Para magkaroon ng oxygen yung tissues natin. And para magkaroon ng tinatawag na aerobic type of metabolism. Pag aerobic, you will what? Yield products just like your ATP, which is the source of your energy. Okay, so that is very important. Product of your aerobic metabolism na tinatawag. Okay? Kaya kailangan ang gas exchange natin. Okay, bakit ko na discuss ang gas exchange natin? Kasi possible siya pag ang question sa NCLEX is what? Pulmonary edema. Okay, so let's go back now. I did mention that in cor pulmonale, the most common cause bakit siya nagka-cor pulmonale is a long-standing pulmonary hypertension. Ang next question ko sa inyo nurses, bakit kaya? Why is pulmonary hypertension possible? How did it develop? Paano siya nag-develop? Sige po, i-guide natin. Pagdating nyo sa NCLEX, pagka-upo nyo doon, pag sinabi nila, what are the causes of pulmonary hypertension? Isipin mo lagi, mataas yung pressure doon sa pulmonary artery and arterioles. Bakit kaya? Sige nga, isa-isahin natin. Anong meron dito? Right atrium. May blood po ba? Yes. Punta sa right ventricle. Okay, then pulmonary artery. Okay, nurses. Pag madami ba ang blood flow na pumupunta sa pulmonary artery, can that lead to pulmonary hypertension? Yes. So, i-mind map mo na lang siya. Okay, from the right ventricle, sabi ni Sir Jucar, ang daming blood na napunta sa pulmonary circulation. So, one cause of pulmonary hypertension is what you call your increased pulmonary blood flow. Okay, have now increase of your pulmonary blood flow. Okay, so galing tayo dito ha, nurses. Let's continue the mind mapping technique in MindWeb. Nung dumami ang blood dito, that causes the hypertension, possible ba nurses na magkaroon din ng increased pressure dito and resistance? Yes, so tawag natin dyan, number 2 is your increase, pulmonary, vascular resistance. Mataas kasi yung pressure tama? Pag mataas ang pressure, ang resistance of blood flow, mataas din. Tama po? Okay, so you have now your pulmonary vascular resistance. What about nurses? Pag bumalik ang blood dito, na madami din. Possible na ba na mag-increase ang pressure sa left atrium? Yes, so possible yon. So because of the increased pulmonary blood flow, babalik siya sa left atrium, increase ng atrial pressure natin. Okay, so you have now, what causes the pulmonary hypertension? Madaming blood ang napunta sa pulmonary artery. Tumaas pa ang pressure. Yes, so nagkaroon ng vascular resistance. Since madaming tubig, bumalik sa left atrium, left atrial pressure. So increase of your left atrial pressure. Okay, so ngayon, dito pa din tayo iikot sa mind mapping technique natin. Let's continue. Nung dumami na ang blood na pumunta dito, nagkaroon ba tayo ng increased pressure? Yun ang tinatawag na pulmonary hypertension. Alright. Since nurses nagkaroon ng congestion and mataas na ang pressure sa pulmonary circulation, si right ventricle has to contract normally para ma-push na ang blood doon saan? Sa pulmonary artery. Pero, ngayon, kasi may pulmonary hypertension na and mataas na ang pressure dito, pwede ko ba sabihin na mahirap para sa right ventricle ang pag-push ng blood papunta sa pulmonary circulation? Yes. Okay? So this pulmonary hypertension can actually lead to your increase of your right ventricular workload. Binigyan mo na ng madaming trabaho sa right ventricle. Bakit? Tumaas yung pressure Nung tumaas ang pressure, hirap na siya para ipump yung blood doon saan? Sa pulmonary circulation. Nahirapan na ang right ventricle. Nag-increase ang workload niya. Tama po? Alright, next. Pag nag-increase ang workload, chronic, mataas yung workload ng right ventricle. Ang right ventricle ba is a muscle? Yes, muscle siya. Any muscle na lagi natin in-increase ang workload or laging ina-exercise, magiging muskulado. Tama? The same with what? The right ventricle. Pag mataas ang pressure niya, kasi sobrang taas pag mataas ang workload niya, kasi mataas doon ang pressure sa pulmonary artery, ang kanyang trabaho, mas mabigat na. Tama? And nag-i-increase na yung workload. Since muscle siya, magiging muskulado siya. Tama? Okay, ang tawag natin dyan, next that will going to happen is the increase of your, is your RVH. You have now your right ventricular hypertrophy. Okay, so nagkaroon ka na ng right ventricular hypertrophy. Ulitin natin. Tumaas yung pressure. Bakit tumaas ang pressure? Kasi ang daming blood flow, pulmonary blood flow. Nung nagkaroon ng madaming blood flow, tumaas ang resistance. Then bumalik sa left atrium na tumaas din ang pressure. So ngayon ang nangyari, congested ang pulmonary artery, work si right ventricle para yung dugo na pumapasok dito, ipampa niya, pambuto doon. Tama po? Okay. So nag-increase ang workload niya. Muscle ba siya? Yes. So naging siya? Naging muskulado. You call that one as right ventricular hypertrophy. Alright, let's analyze pa. Let's continue the story. Pag nagkaroon ka na ng right ventricular hypertrophy, is it possible, nurses, na mapapagod din ang muscle? Yes, any muscle. Okay, kahit yung puso mo napapagod din. Kasi increase ang kanyang workload. So, since increase ang kanyang workload, nagkaroon siya ng hypertrophy, right ventricular hypertrophy, So, napagod na rin siya sa kakapump ng blood. So, nagkaroon na tayo ng exhaustion. Napagod na rin yung puso. Tama po? Okay. Nung nagkaroon na ng exhaustion, humina na ba yung pag-pump niya? Kasi exhausted na siya. Pagod na yung puso niya. Okay, so, pag pagod na, okay, so exhaustion, okay, darating sa point na mahina na yung pag-pump niya. Pag mahina na ang pag-pump ng right ventricular muscle natin, then that can lead to your right ventricular heart failure. So, nagka-heart failure na siya because we define heart failure as what? Okay, decreased contractility leading to a decrease in cardiac output. Well, did you get my point? Okay? So, what causes the cor pulmonale? How do you define this? Right-sided heart failure due to what? Okay, a primary lung disease, commonly the pulmonary hypertension. Yun na lang iisipin nyo. Nagkaroon siya ng right-sided failure kasi ang problema na sa lungs. Tumaas yung pressure. Bakit? Maraming blood flow. Nagkaroon ng resistance. Bumalik sa left atrium, madami pa din. So, nagtrabaho ng mas madami si right ventricle. Muscle siya. Nagkaroon siya ng hypertrophic condition, the RVH. Okay. Then, nung chronic, na nag-increase ang workload natin, chronically, you have the increase of workload, then there is now exhaustion, na pagod na po siya. And eventually, there is now your right ventricular heart failure. So, na-trace natin ang pathophysiology. Diba? From the definition. Okay, right-sided failure due to what? Pulmonary hypertension. So I did mention that what is the beauty of your pathophysiology? Pag naintindihan mo to, meron parang congestion of blood. So ano magiging gamot natin? Doon na papasok. You don't need to memorize na. Di ba po? Okay, sige nga, try natin. Nurses, answer me. Since there is congestion in the lungs, increasing the pressure in your pulmonary tissue, we call that one as pulmonary hypertension. Do I need a drug that will excrete fluid from the body? Yes, and that can be done by giving your diuretics. So diuretics can be used for client with what? With cor pulmonale. Kasi nga po merong congestion. So we want to pull the blood out para maihinang client natin. Alright? So number 2. Meron po bang increase in peripheral resistance? Yes, since palakas ang resistance, constricted ang blood vessel mo, constricted ang blood vessel. So anong gamot ang pwede kong ibigay? Kasi constricted, para walang resistance sa blood flow, para hindi mataas ang pressure. Anong gagamitin kong gamot? Do I need a vasoconstrictor or do I need a vasodilator? Kailangan natin yun. Tama? So you need what? Your vasodilators. What are common dilators being used in cor pulmonale, especially in your NCLEX? 1. Don't forget your CCBs. What is CCBs? Calcium channel blockers. Then you also have your nitrates. CCBs, example, deltiazem. You also have your nifedipine. Nitrates, nitroglycerin, that's also a vasodilator. Then another one, you can also make use of your prostacyclin. Prostacyclin is a potent vasodilator. Then you also have your PDE5 inhibitor. Your PDE5 inhibitor, nurses, in our actual program, na-explain ko yon ng detalyado, but I'll give you the mechanism of action of PDE5 inhibitor. The PDE5, to simplify, will degrade the nitric oxide. Dinedegrade niya si nitric oxide. Ang nitric oxide is a vasodilator. So pag ang PDE5, dinedegrade niya, sinisira niya si nitric oxide, may vasodilation na mangyari? Wala. So you have to inhibit the PDE5 enzyme. by giving PDE5 inhibitor. Doon na papasok si sildenafil, Viagra. It can be used also for your core pulmonale due to its what? Your vasodilatory effect. You can also make use of your tadalafil. Your tadalafil is also your competitor of your sildenafil, which is your Cialis. Okay? That's your PDE5 inhibitor. You can also make use, aside from the CCBs, nitrates, prostacyclin, PDE5, you can also make use nurses of your endothelin antagonist. Why antagonist? Endothelin promotes vasoconstriction. So dapat i-inhibit ko siya. Right? Okay, so you have to, one example is your bosentan. Okay, that is your endothelin antagonist. Okay, the newest one also that is being given to manage your core pulmonale, a vasodilator that mimics the nitric oxide and also synergistically work with the nitric oxide, pinapotentiate niya, and ginagaya pa niya sa nitric oxide, it's your guanylate cyclase inhibitor. Stimulator. Okay, you have your guanylate cyclase stimulator. Okay? And one best example is your Rio Sigwap. Okay, so your guanylate cyclase stimulant, you have your Rio Sigwap. That's RIOCIGUAT. That is your guanylate cyclase stimulant. What's the mechanism of action? For those who get the correct answer, it mimics the nitric oxide and works synergistically with your nitric oxide. Okay, did we achieve our objective? Yes? Why? We were able to discuss what? The pathophysiology. We now understand that in core pulmonale, nagka-right-sided heart failure pala siya kasi mataas yung pulmonary pressure. Okay, so kailangan ibaba natin yung pulmonary pressure na yon by giving what? Okay, your diuretics and also your what? Vasodilator. Okay? So for those three who got the correct answer, you can avail your 2,000 pesos discount when you enroll in our online digital program. Our online digital program, we have the three phases: the refresher, the intensive, and your booster phase. But, because I want more, I want to give more, bago mag-refresher, may diagnostic test muna kayo. It mimics the actual NCLEX na to identify your weakness and your strength. Alright, then proceed to the refresher. Refresher is good for those who want to take the NCLEX kasi kailangan mo naman ng may background ka, and especially for those na need ng preparation kasi ang tagal nang wala sa nursing. Okay, so good for everybody because you need, of course, the foundation dapat. Pag na-build na natin yung foundation, go to the intensive. The intensive will mimic the actual NCLEX also. It's a computer adaptive exam and automated, andun ka agad ang result. Then we will not just give your key answer, which is A, because this is what happened. I have the video na dapat yung pakinggan, and explain ko doon ang rationale bakit hindi ito and bakit ito yung answer natin. It's not just reading, but it's more of reading. C, kailangan mo siya makita and kailangan mo marinig. According to research, pag ginagamit mo lahat ng senses mo, mas maganda ang retention sa memory natin. So, sa NCLEX, mabilis na lang. Okay. The last phase is the booster phase, which includes the specialized topic in nursing. Okay. The ECG analysis, the ABG analysis. And the last part will be, of course, your predictor exam. For to predict, this is now your final evaluation if you're ready to take the exam. And then we have now added classes like your enhancement. We also have the final coaching and one-on-one counseling with the head coach. Okay? So, thank you very much for your time. This is MindWeb Academy. Our promise is retention through simplification, and we think possible.